Yo, what is going on, guys? Jaeky here. Today we're going to be taking a look at and reviewing the Waizowl OGM Cloud. Waizowl is a relatively new company to the mouse space, so it's going to be interesting to see how their mouse is quality-wise, but this is pretty much a clone of the Steelseries Sensei shape. So if you've ever used a Steelseries Sensei, this is pretty much the exact same shape, except the wireless, lightweight, and with 4K optional available if you buy the dongle. So yeah, let's get right into it. Shout out to Waizowl for sending this out for review, but as always, that does not affect my opinion of it. I've been using this mouse now for the past week, and I've put it back in its box so I can show you guys the unboxing experience and pretty much what it comes with. So let's get right into it. So opening up here, we have a pull tab on the side, and you pretty much just pull out the mouse just like this. Inside, you get the mouse inside of a clear little plastic bag. If you pull it out, this is what the mouse looks like in a nice red color. The accent buttons are white, and you also have the Waizowl logo right here with a white scroll wheel. The feet as well, you get 4 separate feet at the corners. All right, in the box here we have the 1K dongle. So this is the regular dongle that you're going to get with the mouse. You will have to purchase the 4K dongle separately on their website, which is a good time to talk about the pricing. So the OGM Cloud is currently priced at $99 USD. And if you want to buy the separate 4K dongle, that will cost you an additional $15 USD. So moving on to the other accessories, we get also a braided USB-C cable, as well as the 4K dongle here, which was provided to me. And you also get grip tape. This grip tape actually reminds me a lot of the Lamzu Atlantis grip tape. Feels pretty much the exact same as the Lamzu grip tape. It even has little decals on it. Same thing with the Lamzu. So that's what the grip tape looks like. It is red, so it will match your mouse. And then obviously you get documentation alongside that. And in the box, you also get some bigger replacement feet. So if you don't like the smaller feet on the Cloud, you can put on the bigger glides if you want. And that's pretty much everything that comes in the box. So with the mouse on the desk, this is what it looks like next to the G Pro Superlight and my current main, the Lamzu Atlantis. You can see it is a medium-sized mouse. My hands are 19 centimeters by 10 centimeters. And I can comfortably grip this mouse. Both claw grip, fingertip works as well for me, and I can even palm it if I want to. So this is a nice little medium to large sized mouse, very similar size to the G Pro Superlight and the Lamzu Atlantis. Again, this is a Steelseries Sensei clone, so if you've ever used a Steelseries Sensei, you know exactly what the shape is like. So for me personally, I have no trouble claw gripping this, but it's definitely not my favorite shape, but it's also not bad either. Obviously, shape is going to be personal preference. If I had to main this mouse, I actually wouldn't mind maining it. It's pretty comfortable. So that's the shape of the Cloud. Moving on to the build quality, it's actually pretty solid. There's a little bit of creaking when I squeeze down on the sides. There is audible creaking that you can hear when I squeeze down on the sides, but it's nothing too crazy, and also a little bit of flex. It does feel a little bit cheaper than the Lamzu Atlantis and the G Pro Superlight. It just feels like it's made out of a little bit more of a cheaper plastic material. So there's a little bit of creak and flex when I squeeze down on the sides. When I shake it though, there's no rattle whatsoever. And the mouse 1 and mouse 2 have almost no side play, as you can see there. The Cloud is roughly 55 grams, which pretty much falls right in line with the Lamzu Atlantis, and it's a little bit lighter than the G Pro Superlight too. Sensor, of course, is the 3395, which supports that 4K polling and the motion sync. And the switches in here, you're looking at a Huano Blue Shell Pink Dot, which is the same as the Lamzu Atlantis. And the clicks feel very similar to the Lamzu Atlantis. No complaints about the click at all. They're very tactile and they feel great. The scroll wheel as well, no complaints about the scroll wheel. Very defined steps, not too loud, still very easy to scroll. So there's really no complaints. And mouse 3 feels fine as well to press. The side buttons on the Cloud are actually pretty good. There's very little pre-travel, a little bit of post-travel, but nothing too noticeable. They don't feel mushy at all. They feel very, very clicky. Not as good as the Lamzu Atlantis side buttons, but better than the G Pro Superlight 2. So they're pretty much somewhere in the middle between the Lamzu Atlantis and the G Pro Superlight when it comes to the side buttons here. Moving on to the feet. The feet, I've had no issues with glide on my mouse pad. They feel very good out of the box, very smooth. So I don't really see a need to replace the feet here. But like I said earlier, you do get replacement feet in the box so that you can switch out if you want to. Okay, moving on, let's get this plugged in and I'll run you guys through the software. You can see when we plug it in, the 4K dongle actually lights up. It's actually a pretty cool 4K dongle. I've never had a dongle with LEDs on it before. This will pretty much tell you what your polling rate is set to, which I'll show you guys in a second here. So let's get right into the software. Alright guys, when you open up the software, this is what it looks like right here. You can see your battery life. This is the home page where you can see pretty much just a picture of your mouse. Moving on to the mouse button page, you can rebind any of your mouse buttons to do whatever you want. Keyboard settings, system shortcuts, or macros. You can do pretty much anything in here. So that page is pretty cool. Moving on to the pointer settings. In here, you can change your DPI. So you can either choose between different stages or you can set your own. And you can also see the color that corresponds to the DPI, which you can see under the mouse. And then in here, you can also select your report rate. So one thing interesting is that, like I said earlier, the 4K dongle actually shows you what report rate you're on. So you can see now, right now I'm on 4K and the dongle is lit up in a yellow LED. If I change this to 2K, it goes to teal. So that's pretty cool. 4K performance on this mouse has been pretty solid. It's been pretty much the same as my Lamzu Atlantis 4K. In my opinion, 4K polling rate is really not that useful. Anything above 1000 Hertz, in my opinion, is negligible. I'm pretty sure Optimum Tech did a video on it where he compared 1K polling rate to 2K to 4K, and there was pretty much no difference whatsoever. So for most people, I'd recommend playing either on 1K or 2K max. I actually don't really play on 4K anymore nowadays. I did test it in 4K and the performance was fine. I've had no issues with my cursor jittering or stuttering whatsoever. So the 4K implementation on this mouse is perfectly fine. And then moving down here, you can create macros. And then in the mouse settings, you can change your liftoff distance. You can turn motion sync on and off, ripple and angle snap. You can also change your scroll wheel settings. You can turn on high speed mode when you're not running 4K Hertz polling rate. So if you're running 1K Hertz polling rate, you can turn on high speed mode. But if you're on 2K or 4K, you can't turn this on because it's probably already enabled or whatever. Not sure how that works. Down here, you can change your debounce time. I currently have this on 0 milliseconds and I haven't experienced any double clicking so far. So if I do, I'll probably turn this up, but so far it's been fine on 0. You can also change how you want your mouse to wake up. So typically when you move your mouse, it will wake the mouse up. You can actually change this to actually require you to press a button on the mouse to wake it up. And then you can also select how fast you want your mouse to fall asleep after no movement. Over here, you can also change your mouse speed, your Windows mouse speed, which I leave default. I didn't touch any of this. You can change your double click speed as well and your scroll speed. And then on the very last tab, you can check your mouse firmware. You can also start up the software when you start your computer, and you can restore factory settings as well. So that's pretty much the software. It's been working fine. Very simple software to go through, and I'm sure you won't have any issues with it. So software has been perfectly fine. Moving on to my in-game performance with the mouse, it's honestly been perfectly fine. Like I said earlier, it's not my favorite shape in the world, but I can perform very well with it. The sensor performance is great, so there's really been no complaints from me in that sense. Like I said, if the shape fits you, this is probably going to be like the perfect mouse for you. Like if the Steelseries Sensei shape is something that you absolutely love, and you've been looking for a wireless version of it that's lightweight with great sensor implementation, then the OGM Cloud from Waizowl is something that I would highly recommend you take a look at. But at the end of the day, shape is king and shape is completely personal preference. So it's really going to be down to every specific individual whether or not they like this shape. But yeah, for $99, the OGM Cloud is actually a really solid mouse. I would stay away from buying the 4K dongle. I really don't see a point in 4K implementation currently. I think you're perfectly fine just using 1K Hertz polling rate, and you'll get solid performance out of the mouse. So for $99, this is actually a solid pickup, especially if you're someone who likes the Steelseries Sensei shape. This would be an endgame mouse for you, definitely. So that's pretty much it, guys. That was my review of the Waizowl OGM Cloud. Again, shout out to Waizowl for sending this out for review. Really great mouse, and I was actually really impressed with this mouse. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I hope this video helps you out, and if it did, make sure you leave a comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.